Hey guys, let's understand FTD in today's class. FTD is a firepower threat defense. It's Cisco's next generation firewall. Earlier, Cisco had ASA firewall. Before ASA, there was a PIX firewall, but those were not a next generation firewall. FTD is a next generation firewall. So it stands for firepower threat defense. It's a Cisco's next generation firewall. Now let's understand terminology of your FTD firewall. So let's see our next slide. Yes, here we can see when Cisco FTD was introduced, right, we started calling it as a Cisco Firepower Threat Defense, right, Cisco Firepower system, or you can say this is a product line. So here we have three things to know, guys. Okay, we'll know a description, we'll know company name, we'll know product line. These are the three things. I'll tell you a history about Cisco FTD. Cisco FTD wasn't originally a product of Cisco. It was basically acquired from SourceFire company. There was a company called SourceFire, and SourceFire were using Snort engine to make it as a next generation or a content filtering based device. So Cisco in 2013 acquired SourceFire, and since then different type of terms were used in the market. So we'll try to understand those terminology, but right now we call it as a FTD, firepower. But earlier it wasn't a firepower. So let me give you a brief description on it. See, when it was a part of SourceFire company, the version was 5.3.0 and company product line was called SourceFire 3D system. This was the term used for firewall, but it was a part of SourceFire company, not a Cisco. Later when Cisco acquired a SourceFire, then they released a new version 5.3.1, and now vendor is Cisco, not a SourceFire, and they give a new terminology called as a Firesite system. And later they started upgrading new versions, so they came up with version 5.4, right? Again vendor Cisco, and same terminology, Firesite system. Now later Cisco came up with a new version 6.x, right? So now we have upgraded versions. From 6.x onwards, Cisco started calling it as a firepower system. Firepower. This terminology came after 6.x version, right? So now whatever devices we have in a market, we call it as a firepower. Okay, not a Firesite, not a SourceFire. These were old versions, and SourceFire was not the product of Cisco. Now it's a part of Cisco. We call it as a Cisco 6.x version onwards. If you see 6.2, 6.7, we have 7.x versions. So we have latest versions right now, and they all are called firepower. So this is how Cisco came up with firepower terminology. So we have three devices right now. We have FTD, firepower threat defense. We have firepower next generation, IPS, and we have FMC. This is centralized manager, right? So all these are called firepower, right? So earlier it was SourceFire, now we call it as a firepower. In between there was a term Firesite. So now you have to clear all the confusions. So we don't have any other SourceFire or a Firesite anymore in a market. Now we have only one thing, that is called firepower. Okay. So I believe this terminology part is clear. Now let's see next slide. In a next slide, here we'll see what is next generation firewall, or what next generation firewall can do. Guys, here I have given a picture where I am trying to show you. This picture has some meaning, okay, where it shows you it's a torch light and it gives you a light and gives you a visibility in your darkness, right? Same way, day by day, when we come up with a new type of technologies, right, when they evolve actually, so they keep adding new features in a firewall and they increase the visibility in our network. Cisco says you can't protect what you can't see. It's true. If I can't see anything, I can't fight against that. Correct. Same way, here, if you don't have a visibility to your network devices, network resources, you can't control the access on those resources, right? So, next generation device is required, and Cisco has come up with FTD, which is next generation firewall. It says I can prevent threat, I can control user, I can control application, web application, file transfer, your servers, malwares, operating system. It has a default profiling which can detect what operating system is running in your in your system itself. It can detect a router and switches, network servers, client application, mobile devices, printers, voice over IP, so many things. Right? If I show you a comparison, your typical IPS, old IPS had a visibility till threats. Typical next generation firewall had a visibility till this part. But when I say Cisco FTD firewall, it has a visibility to this entire part. This is called a next generation firewall. This is called upgradation. So things has got evolved. Now we have so many things visible with the help of next generation firewall. Right? Now let's see our next slide. Okay. So here we can see introduction to a next generation firewall. Right? So, initially there was ASA firewall, and ASA firewall had a capability of getting upgraded to FTD firewall. Okay. Or else you can have a direct FTD hardware, or if you have ASA with X series of generation. Okay. Two things are there, guys. Okay. Either you need to have X generation of ASA firewall. Right, here ASA should be of X generation, or you can have FTD hardware, anything is fine. Okay, so here we have ASA hardware with X series, and you can see on top of hardware, not the ASA operating system, just a hardware of ASA has been used, and inside ASA will use or will install SSD, and in that SSD will install the operating system of FTD. Now, when I talk about FTD features, you guys can see here in FTD, we have we have firewalling feature, we have routing feature, we have a switching feature, which is transparent firewall, right? So firewalling is there, whatever we had in a ASA, the same firewalling part we have here, but now we have advanced things added as well. We have application visibility control, AVC. It's an application visibility control, sub-application, service-based application control, multiple things comes here. Okay. Earlier, we used to control our network traffics based on the IP address or a port number and all, right? But now we can control applications and we can control sub-applications as well. Like we have a Facebook, right? On a Facebook, we have chat, we have download, video chat, audio chat, multiple things. So if you want to control those sub-applications, you can even do that. It's possible, okay? That's an application visibility control, or you can say deep packet inspection can be done. Now, we have a clustering feature, HA feature that was present with previous firewall as well, okay? Now we have additional intrusion prevention system, and it requires a subscription. Without subscription, you can't use this feature. It means now you don't need a separate NGIPS, right? In FTD itself, we have NGIPS introduced, right? And two devices together can work as a single operating system now. That's how it is working as of now, okay? So we have an intrusion prevention system, and it is used for detecting threats, preventing your network from the attacks and all. That is basically called as an intrusion prevention system. We have an advanced malware protection, kind of a sandbox you can say. In other vendors, we call it as a sandbox. So here we have an advanced malware protection. And this is also subscription based. It's not like when you use a demo firewall, you get all these things with your demo itself, nothing like that. Advanced feature requires a license, you have to purchase it. So advanced features like separate sandbox, you can say. It's a kind of isolated environment where any attack happens, that is being tested over here to see whether it is good or bad. That is basically called advanced malware protection. We have URL filtering, identity policy control, VPN access control, built-in network profiling where it can detect automated stuff like what is your operating system, where are you connected, what type of device you are using, is it router, PC, several type of stuff, right? And very important part, it generates the dynamic report. Now what is dynamic report? Understand, earlier in a company when you were asked like what type of what type of network accesses were done today, give me a report, or give me a report of 10 top applications used in a network, or give me a report of the attacks that happened in a network. So in a previous time, we had to manually search, we had to manually gather the informations, and then we had to create a report and present to our TL or manager, something like that. But in today's date, those things has totally gone. Manual process has gone. Now, whatever traffic comes to your firewall directly creates the automated type of report. You just have to go to that option and search what type of report you want to see. So it's a dynamic report, automated report. Nowadays devices are getting integrated with the AI, ML, those stuff as well. So it understands what type of traffics are coming into a firewall, and it basically automatically generates the report based on our traffics coming to our firewall. Okay, so collectively this type of features included into a single operating system, guys. In a single operating system, we don't use multiple devices. Single device FTD has these many features which is required in today's network, right? That's why FTD is in very much demand as of now. Okay, so guys, this was overall information about the FTD. This was little bit information, but in my class I'll be teaching you in depth about FTD from scratch till the higher level. I'll be teaching you all the informations. So I'll see you guys in the class. Take care.